What's up? You clicked on this video thinking it was going to be some guru BS, but this time you're actually going to learn something. I'm going to show you live how I run my ads, and then I'm going to tell you exactly why some of your ads fail after a couple dollars of ad spend, why some ads do super well and then fail after a couple $100s of ad spend, and why some of your ads just don't perform at all. And then I'm going to show you how to make decisions, how to test stuff, how to scale stuff, what scaling even means on Facebook and Google. This video covers it all. And so take out popcorn because this is going to be a banger. So before I get into actually showing you how I run my ads, you need to understand a couple things. And I've written down a couple basic bullet points that I'm going to go through with you so that you can even understand and make decisions on your own. So the very first one is, if your ad is engaging and keeps people watching, you get lower CPMs. A lot of people struggle with CPMs and they blame their ad account, they blame their pixel, they blame the country that they sell to, or the saturation of their products. But at the end of the day, everything nowadays when it comes to metrics, or 90%, happens on your creatives. If you have banger creatives, really good 10 out of 10 ad creatives, then you're gonna crush it on every single ad platform and every single market. And so it doesn't really matter what it says. It just means if you get low CPMs, it mainly means that your ad is super engaging and you did a very good job and you didn't rip the content. Because obviously, yes, if your ad is engaging but the whole ad is just ripped, then yes, you're still going to get higher CPMs. That's just how it is. And so you need to understand how the ad platform works, right? You need to understand how everything works, because the other videos in product research and in making the ads, whatever marketing, I always tell you, you need to understand how your customers work, and that is true. However, you also, when you buy media, right, which is what you're doing, you're paying the ad platforms money to show your media, then you essentially have to understand, or you should, I mean, if I'm putting my money behind it, I want to understand how the ad platforms work in the first place and who is going to see my ads once I upload something, right? Because you need to understand it. You need to break everything down step by step, each step, okay? And so CPMs are really just a reward of how engaging your ad is. Also, it's how much pixel data you have. Also, it can be which country you sell to and how expensive is it, what niche you're in, right? And you need to understand one thing. CPMs are constantly going to increase, right? Over the next couple months and years, we're going to have, or we're already having, an inflation of CPMs. If you compare the beauty CPMs in the US right now with a year ago, they've probably doubled, right? And so this is not going to get, this is not going to turn around. It's going to get more and more expensive always, okay? And you need to be prepared. And so in my opinion, the only brands that are going to be able to survive this inflation or increase of CPMs are the ones who actually charge more for their offer, who have more expensive offers. And so you can't just go ahead like a maniac and start increasing your prices like crazy, but you actually need to pull it off. And so that's what I want to talk about first. I want to talk with you about how can you pull off being the most expensive competitor in the market. And there's one way to do that, by having a cold friendly offer. A cold friendly offer is basically super expensive, right? It has every variable of the value equation maxed out. Alex Hormozi's value equation. If you don't know what it is, Google it up. And you need to split test it. It comes basically with these three things. You want super expensive, value equation, and split testing. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good of a marketer you are, how much experience you have. If you don't split test your offers, you will never actually know which one is better. And especially later on. Okay, so never stop split testing. Actually be super expensive and pull it off. Okay, the perceived value needs to be so high that people still feel like they're getting more than what they pay for, right? If it's super expensive. And then obviously start thinking about products in terms of market sophistication, because in some markets it's just so easy to tap into and make the same claims, or make a little bit of different bigger claims, or just basically take something from one market to another if the market isn't that saturated or sophisticated yet. So for example, let's say everyone is scaling a specific product in the US. Well, you could just go ahead, sell it to Germany. If no one's really scaling in Germany, then you're the first one basically, and basically the market is not sophisticated at all. So you don't have to make bigger claims, you don't have to have a better product. You don't have to have any of that stuff. But let's say you do want to sell it to the US, or let's say basically every market in that product is already pretty tapped. Well, what could you do? Well, the thing is, that's where like the drop shipping limits are limiting you, because at the end of the day, if you're a classic dropshipper and you don't want to invest money in actually improving upon a product, then I wouldn't sell super saturated products. But everyone always says, oh, stay away from shapewear, right? I'll give an example. So let's say shapewear is what everyone tells you to stay away from, but for some reason, you have to sell shapewear. You want to sell shapewear, and there's no choice. You're gonna die if you don't sell shapewear. How can you do it? Well, we know that shapewear is like basically in every country of the world. It's super sophisticated. Okay, so everyone knows that. Everyone has a lot of buying experiences, and also positive buying experiences, but also negative buying experiences, and the skepticism of buyers is at an all-time high. We know that, okay? But just looking at the Pride shapewear, every dropshipper, that's what they hear at first: stay away from shapewear, especially in Shrine theme, okay? So that's the thing, okay? However, how can we make that work? Well, if we make a product which is superior to every other product, and we make bigger claims, back it up by scientific data, for example, and actually prove and have authorities speak that our product is better than every other one's out there, then we are still gonna make it work, even if everything is saturated, right? So how is that possible? Well, we turn it into a brand, and we actually invest money into the product development. Okay, so instead of product research, you start doing product development, you start actually improving and working on the product, and then actually have authorities, which could be influencers, speaking about the product and actually proving that it's better, and then them also backing it up. Okay, if you do that, you will make every product work. Basically, you can make the most saturated product work. It's just, the question is just how much is it worth it to you, right? Because if you find a dropshipping product that just isn't being scaled in a specific market, you can just take everything over there. Don't even have to do that much work then with product development and branding and everything. And the risk is also super low, right? So in the beginning, I wouldn't recommend you to do that anyways, because it's going to be super risky for you to get into branding and to invest a bunch of money, which you probably don't have. Let's face it, right? If you're wanting to do ecom, you probably are not a, millionaire, or probably don't have multiple, 10, 20, 30K in your bank account, maybe 100K. So you just want to get there. And so in the beginning, I think if you just optimize for a business that gives you a lot of cash flow, which is going to be obviously dropshipping, that's a very good way of collecting capital and then later on investing it into a brand. But that's like a completely different topic. So what I want you to do now is understand and actually take your time to study ad platforms. All right, you studied, bro. Okay, so you must. The next second thing I wrote down is you must aim for extremely solid, good hook rates. Why do I say that? Now, when it comes to hook rates, obviously the hook, as we know, is the most important part of your entire ad creative, right? So if you don't track your hook rate, then just set it up right now on every ad platform that has like creatives. So Facebook, TikTok, Native, Pinterest, everywhere, Snapchat. So whatever you run ads, you should be knowing how many people see your hooks. And that is just super easy to set up, like just the custom columns, and then add in 3 second divided by impressions, like total, and then percentage, whatever. But you have to know how many people are actually staying on your hook. And I aim for at least 50%, and I'm going to show that in my bank account, in my ad account soon. And I aim for at least 50% hook rates, because I think if you don't have 50% hook rates nowadays, it's super difficult to make enough people curious to actually get good CPCs and to actually get high quality traffic. Because this is the first little intent that you see on whatever ad platform, on whatever ad, right? A lot of people just say like, okay, start waiting for add to carts or sales, right? But a lot of people also say, no, see if the CPCs are good. But the very first thing that you see on your ad, if it's good or it's bad, is the hook rate. And hook rates do optimize. So I've seen ads for the first couple hours get terrible hook rates, and then they skyrocket to 60%. So I'm gonna show this to you, how I do this, how I analyze hook rates, and how I improve upon hook rates, and then what you have to do to analyze further on. But just so you know, hook rates have to be super good. I aim for at least 50%. And if it's not at 50, then I'm going to keep testing variations. I'm going to keep making more shocking, engaging, more calling at my target demographic. And that's what I'm doing until I actually have at least bare minimum 50% hook rates. Okay. Third thing I wrote down is something which I already covered in other videos, but I want to say it again, is that scaling has nothing to do with media buying, right? So what I'm talking about in this video, media buying, okay? Scaling has nothing to do with just bumping budgets. It has nothing to do with clicking on edit and then doubling your budget. That's not scaling. Because yes, scaling means you spend more on an ad platform, but at the end of the day, you have to always ask yourself, or the natural question basically is, what do you spend money on, right? Where do you spend more money? So you have to ask yourself that. And then the super simple answer is more creatives, right? If you had 10 winning ads all running on a $100 budget, you would basically spend $1,000, just like if you have one ad that you spend on 1,000, so 1K a day, right? So at the end of the day, it's super easy to actually have a lot of ad creatives not running on that of a high budget, but then the small things adding each other up, and then you have a lot of spend. Obviously, you should have both, but in the beginning, it's super easy to get that. And so why do some ads cap or stop performing after a certain ad spend? Why do conversion rates drop, for example? I'm going to tell you why. Because scaling has nothing to do with media buying. It has to do with awareness stages, right? Awareness stages, as you know, there are 5 levels of customer awareness. And in every product you sell, in every market that you look at, there are people in there who are in one of these 5 awareness stages, right? So once you launch ads, once you launch a new product, right? This applies, by the way, to every single business out there, right? So whatever business you get into, you will realize this. The first couple of days, weeks, you do get every sale. Like you could run a picture of an apple and you will still make, you would still get the low-hanging fruits. That's the point. You would get the low-hanging fruits, and it doesn't matter what you advertise, those are always going to be there, right? In every business, there are always low-hanging fruits, or also so-called most aware people. Most aware people are people who already know everything about you, right? They know your brand, they know everything you do, they've seen your ad, they already know that they want the product, they're aware of their own problem, they're aware of which solution they're going to take, and they just buy if they see your ad. Okay, they don't. I mean, I usually say they need a discount. They don't even need a discount. They just need a reminder that you exist, and then they buy. So that's most aware. However, right, obviously someone would say, okay, let's just focus on those for the rest of my life. Well, if you do that, you're not going to make a lot of money because that audience is very limited in size. So once you realize, okay, well, now I'm spending like $50 to $100 on this ad set, let me spend a little bit more. If it's a most aware ad, it will not perform. It will not keep up with that spend. You're going to realize that. So you're going to realize, natural question is, well, how do I spend more? Well, next thing is product aware. Product aware already has a lot more people in it. And so what are product aware people? Product aware people are people who know their problem, right? They know how they're going to solve it, or that they're going to solve it in the first place. They already know which product, which solution they're going to take. It's just they're comparing you to different competitors that are selling the same exact product. Okay, so what performs super well in that awareness stage is just when you talk about why you as a competitor for this solution are better than all the other competitors selling the same solution, right? So let's put e-com aside. Let's say you're selling a weight loss program. Okay, so your weight loss program is super good because you have 5 coaches in there and you're in there as well, and you fly out to the people and you basically live with them and you make sure that they lose the weight, that they train, that they stay accountable, and that that the process is fun all the way, right? So you cover all these things. You're also super expensive. Okay, let's say that's you. Now, someone who wants to lose weight might look at you and say, oh, they fly out to me, cool, but it's super expensive. Let's see what other weight loss programs are doing. And so person B, competitor B, might be doing maybe they don't fly out, but they just, help you with online calls, whatever. And that's how they help. And they're half the price, or they're a tenth of the price. Or competitor C is maybe just a video course, right, on how to lose weight, right? So all these different solutions, they basically are the same product, right? Weight loss programs, but they're just comparing different prices, different competitors, and then you need to figure out what they actually want, and then you need to give it to them, right? That's marketing. And so you have to be better. And one thing which a big misconception I feel like in a lot of people is when they think about product aware people, they look at it in a way of like, okay, well, I'm just going to be the cheapest one and then I'm going to win. But that's not the case. Of course, you're going to get some customers that way, right? Because there's always the cheap customers who just, come. But trust me, those are not the customers you want, because those are the customers who are most likely to refund, who are most likely to, have a lot of headaches with. And if you've ever seen that, like if you ever sold a super cheap product and you got all the customer emails like, I'm going to sue you, where's my product? After like 2 days of not arriving, obviously. And then, if you have an $80 offer, people after 2 weeks are going to say, hey bro, what's up? Where's my order? Is it ever going to arrive? No, it's cool. Like, you know that like more expensive you are, the more chill your customers get, and the easier it is to satisfy those customers. Like you would think it's the other way, but it's not. So you don't win in the market in the long run if you're the cheapest one. So how can you pull off being the most expensive one and winning in the product aware people? Well, it's that you, instead of competing on price, start competing on value and how much you provide. And this is directly transferable on e-com, right? And so actually make bigger claims than everyone else, right? You have to explain them logically and emotionally why you are a superior competitor for this solution, right? And then you have to back it up with proof, okay? As simple as that, right? A lot of social proof. Social proof is probably the most important thing in any business nowadays, right? Software companies, in info businesses, in e-com, proof is key, okay? And especially if you have an influencer or someone talking about you, it's even better. And you can, let's face it, you can do that, okay? So also, number 4, what I've written down is that you should forget a CBO and Advantage Plus for now, right? So at the end of the day, what's super important is that, a lot of people think, okay, well, they have this most aware ad that I was talking about before, like, right? Let's say they have an ad which runs on a $100 budget, keeps performing, but whenever they bump it to 150, the ROAS drops, or 200, the ROAS drops, right? The ad dies, and they scale it back to 100 and it keeps performing, kind of. So what they do is they just start duplicating it to CBO, to Advantage Plus, and they think, okay, if I do this and then a lookalike and then this, it's not going to work. Okay, trust me. All the magic happens on your ad creative level. So that's what you need to focus on. Forget CBO. Forget that CBO even exists. Test with ABO, because you want to give every single creative the same chance of success, and then just scale up your ABOs. Just start testing ABO assets until they're like a $300-500 budget, until they are going to hold a lot of spend, and then you can mess around with all the other campaign structures to scale even further. Then you have to go. But in the beginning, you can't, right? And before I was talking about influencers and how much that does, I want to quickly, before I actually show you my ad accounts, talk about how you can actually use that, how you can get to influencers talking about your stuff, and how you can get a lot of social proof. So this is something which Alex Becker has talked about a lot on his channel. And so there's like a testimonial ladder, basically, right? So you start at the bottom. You reach out to very, very, very small influencers. I'm talking like a couple thousand followers. So like on TikTok or Instagram, maybe 1 to 2K followers, okay? So you reach out to them, you send them your product for free, and then basically maybe even give them a creator code. So you say, hey, they make money if, give them an offer which they can't say no to. It's the same thing for them as well, essentially. So you want to have some like small micro influencers talking about you. And then what you do is you use those real testimonials to reach out to the next step, to a little bit bigger influencers, right? So you might ask them, hey, who do you know who has like 10K followers? And they know someone, right? Because they're already in that space. So they're going to send you the contact. You're going to reach out to them. Hey, I was talking to XYZ and they're like the product. What do you want to do? Say, you're going to get a bunch of no's, but you're going to get 1 or 2 yeses. And then the yeses you send the product to, guess what? You ask them, do you know someone with 20K? Then you ask the 20K one, do you know someone with 50K? Then you go all the way up until you're like million followers, influencers working with you, right? There's this ladder of testimonials that you can always go up with any product you launch, because there's in every niche, even in B2B, there's like big names that you can use as testimonials. And especially in B2B, this works super well, but this also works very well in e-com, because you can just go ahead and whatever product you sell, there's always going to be big names, big influencers actually in that space, in that niche. And so you just got to work yourself up to those, right? And use the next best ones to jump from an influencer to influencer until you're all the way up there. Okay, so now let's actually get into how I run my ads. Okay, so this right here is my ad account, and I want to show you a couple of things here. I'm not going to leak any numbers, any specifics, but what I'm going to show you is the click-through rates, the CPMs, the CTRs, and obviously, yeah, so the CPCs which come through it. And then I want to talk about how you can improve those for yourself. So at the end of the day, what the most important part is absolutely your click-through rate. How many people that watch your ad are actually clicking on your website? And so you can just directly correlate this to how engaging is your ad and how curious do you make people, because you will have a lot of good hook rate ads that just don't hook anyone and that just don't basically make anyone click on your ad. So with these, what you have to do is you have to actually make them curious enough. You say too much in your ad, you reveal too much. A good direct response ad creative just makes people curious enough to click, but nothing besides that, like no more than that. Okay, very important, right? So as you can see here, this one I've been scaling 1.58, 1.61. This one's actually super bad, but it's still performing. 1.55, 1.49, 2.20, 2.27. So it's not 2.74. It's not even that crazy, right? If I scroll down on the ones that I've turned off, you see a lot of very, very bad ones. I've tested a lot of creatives. This one's actually super interesting because this one's a very good CTR, but didn't perform for it because I turned it off. Look, the CPM was also super high on this one. So, I mean, as you can see, the average is probably like a 2.5% here, maybe even a little bit lower. So that's really what I've been working with, and it has been working super well for me. Okay, so this is what you need to understand. So at the end of the day, if I now go to a little bit to the right, and let's actually break down these metrics here, because I think they're super interesting as well. So hook rate, 25% video view, 50% video view, 75% hold rate, and conversion rate. These metrics here are super important to set up. And if you're watching this video and you don't look at these metrics on your Facebook Ad Manager and set them up right now, what the hell are you still doing on this video? Okay, you want to track all of these and you want to see where people are clicking off. So let's look at the first one, right? We have a 59.7% hook rate, which is insane. And that's exactly what I said. Like, you have to understand one thing. First 3 seconds of the video, people have terrible attention spans. I'm getting, with this ad set, 59.7% of people to watch the first 3 seconds. Like, if 100,000 people see this ad, 59,000 people watch the first 3 seconds. This is how you make money, okay? Hook rates all the way. Very important. Now, as you can see here, we have a huge drop off between hook rate and 25%. And that is because I'm selling a health product and my hook is completely different from the next clip, right? It's this good example for ugly ads, pretty profits. The hook has less, it's a very hard transition, right? There's no really a transition at all. So this is how I do it. And if you look at it, like, drop off is big, but it makes a lot of money. It converts. It makes like conversion rate is at like 8%. So 0.8 technically, but yeah. So same thing here, almost 50%, big drop off, right? Here we have a 35%, which I don't know. For me personally, it's not high enough. So I'm testing variations as we speak, making it better, right? But we do have better hold rate, for example, as up here, which is interesting, and a little bit better conversion rate too, right? So some ads will give you better conversion rates, better hold rates, better click-through rates, even though the hook rates are worse. Sometimes it's going to happen, okay? We have some image ads here which don't have any hook rates, right? Also converting very well. But the thing is, what I want to show you here is most of my hook rates. Let me actually scroll through here. You will see most of my hook rates being at around 50 to 60%, which is crazy for every single ad that I've tested. And whenever I see this at a product test, I know that, or I'm very confident that I can make this product work, right? And if I don't make it convert, then it's completely on me. It's my fault, right? So this is what I'm looking for. If you don't have 50 to 60% hook rates, then you're not there yet. And it's going to be increasingly super, super, super difficult to actually scale with hook rates that are worse or less than 50% basically. Very hard to do. And especially, like I said before, since CPMs are skyrocketing, CPMs are inflating right now, it's never going to get easier. So probably next year, I'm going to tell you, hey, you need like 65% hook rates. And then in a couple of years, I might tell you need 80% hook rates. And I'm sure we're going to live times where we need every single one to watch our first 3 seconds. So your ad creatives just need to get better at the end of the day. And your offers need to get more expensive because you need to be able to spend more for each customer. That's how you combat CPMs, right? So if I see an ad like this that has a 60% hook rate, what do? Well, I let it run for a couple days. Don't touch it the first couple days, obviously, if it has good metrics. So if you see day one, it gets no link clicks, then turn that shit off, right? But if it gets link clicks, if it gets some add to carts, maybe 1 or 2 sales, bro, don't turn it off. And yes, it's normal. There's nothing wrong with you if you don't get a sale within $5 of ad spend on Facebook, especially. Okay, very important. But let it run. Okay, so just let it run and then make decisions based off of it, right? So I know what awareness stage this ad speaks to. Basically, what I did with this ad here, or like these top 2 really, is I spoke to like solution aware people, right? So I tried to go not too much down, right? I don't want to speak to problem aware, unaware people. But I also didn't want to, start at the most aware or product aware stage. I really just, kind of did a middle thing for these 2 assets, and they do scale pretty well. Right? They are running in this ABO right now. I haven't moved them into a CBO yet, but I will probably soon because they are doing super well. And so at the end of the day, what you need to understand is Facebook optimizes the first couple of days like crazy. Okay, even if it gets good soft metrics but no sales, don't turn off your stuff because it's going to turn around at some point. It's going to optimize, right? Very important. And don't get impatient and don't get emotional about any aspect. This is the law number 1. The most important rule for media buying is to not get emotional, never get emotional about any ad spend. If your ads are wasting or burning money, that's not the case. Okay, it's never good. Like if you think your ads are burning money, they're not. Then you're just impatient. And don't look into your ads manager. Don't check your Shopify dashboard. Do that once a day and then make decisions, right? If you're not intraday scaling on Facebook, if you're not search scaling on Facebook, which you shouldn't be doing if it's not Black Friday, then don't be in your ads manager. I'm telling you that because it's just going to hurt. Obviously, you're a human. Yeah, you don't want to lose your money. You want to make money and you watch your money go away on ads. Stop it, okay? Don't get emotional and just calm down, relax. Very important skill in media buying, right? What you're going to realize, right? So even like close it, do something else, watch Netflix. I don't know. I don't care, okay? So let's actually also break down how I media buy on Google. A lot of people really don't run Google ads or they just outsource it. So I was thinking like, why not show you how I run my Google ads? It's a very important topic and it makes me a lot of money right now. So let me give you the sauce. Okay, so as you can see, these are 3 campaigns that I'm running right now. I'm not spending that much. Today I've just spent like $18, right? It's beginning of the day, but today I haven't spent that much money on this yet. So I have 3 different campaigns here, right? This one I've turned off, was unprofitable for me. You need basically 3 types of campaigns, right? You need a brand search campaign, you need a competitor search campaign, and then you need a keyword problem solution, right? Problem aware, solution aware campaign, right? These are the search campaigns that you need. Now, I'm not going to show you any shopping campaigns or basically PMAX because on this product I don't have any yet, okay? So I'm just going to show you the search campaigns that I have on, how to analyze them, how to make decisions. So very first thing about Google Ads is they don't start spending until you get awareness on that keyword, which means it takes like 72 hours until a search campaign starts spending. Completely normal. Don't start stressing if it doesn't spend. It will take its time. And especially very important is you pay for clicks, right? On any other ad platform, basically, you pay for impressions, which means you pay for people to see your ad. What happens then is not Facebook's business, okay? So it's your job to make your creative good enough to make people click. It's completely different on Google. On Google, you pay for clicks. So that means if you're not getting any clicks, then you're not paying a single dollar, which is pretty cool, right? You would think that's guaranteed money. Well, it's not, because the keywords have extreme differences and fluctuations when it comes to, okay, are they converting or are they just giving me shit traffic? So the very first step that I would do is a brand search campaign. A brand search campaign is just a campaign which the only keyword it has is your brand name, obviously, like the name says. And then obviously, if you don't have any search volume on that keyword, which means if you're not running any other ad platform that's actively buying you market share, then that campaign is not going to spend at all. So you need to get awareness first on that campaign to start spending money on Google. That's the very first thing I would do. After a couple $100 to spend on Facebook, you will start this campaign start spending too. So then you need a competitor search campaign. Competitor search campaigns are campaigns that basically the same thing like a brand search. You just put the names of competitors in there, right? That's what you do. So obviously you're getting traffic that from your competitors, right, which is pretty cool, but you're going to realize some keywords, some competitors are much more profitable than others. So this is like a week of a testing phase. Then you turn off unprofitable keywords and then actually just increase the budgets on the ones which have good profitability, right? Good conversion rates at the end of the day, and like low CPCs. And what you're going to realize also is you're going to pay for each click, right? The lower down you go on the awareness stages, right? So if you're at most aware, that's going to be the most important click at all, because those people are super hot. Those people want to buy already. If you're speaking to unaware people, it's going to be very cheap clicks, right? But it's going to be, not a lot of competition there on Google. And so this is where you want to become. This is what you want to get later on, right? So a lot of keywords are unprofitable on competitor search campaigns just because the conversion rates are like not on point, and the CPCs are super expensive because you're like actually buying so high quality traffic. Okay. And then the third search campaign that I have is a problem solution, or like a problem aware, solution aware type of search campaign. So what I've done is I'm selling a problem solving product, right? So you just want to go ahead and look for keywords, right? Actually validate some keywords that the problem aware people have, and then solution aware, right? So you just go based off of like the problems. Let's say you sell a skin cream or something, right? Then you can just go ahead, go to Google Trends to validate keywords, look for keywords, and then start going through the problems that you solve. So like maybe you could do like how to solve wrinkles or how to get rid of acne, right? All these things. So you validate keywords, look which keyword has the biggest search volume, and look also for smaller ones, and then test all of them, right? And again, this is going to have a learning phase. A lot of them are going to be unprofitable. After a week, turn off the unprofitable ones and then scale up the profitable ones. This is really how you scale on Google. Now, what we're going to do after this on Google, which I'm working on right now, is shopping and performance max. So two things about these, right? First thing, shopping campaigns are very powerful, and a lot of Google ad accounts have like 80% of their spend on shopping campaigns. What's super important about this is that you need good images for that, right? And you need to optimize your title, because at a shopping campaign, that's the thing. When you Google something up and at the very top, there's these pictures of the product, right? That's shopping, right? So that's Google Shopping. And just so you know, obviously, what would you click on, right? You would click on a very cool image. So something which just looks very appealing. You would not click on a normal white background, boring product, which is like the fifth listing on Google Shopping. If it looks boring and you don't spend a lot of money on it, you will not get any good traffic at all. So you need a very good creative. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a creative. It's an image ad, basically, more or less. And you need to optimize your title with keywords. So you can't enter any keywords in there, but you have to actually go ahead and optimize your title in a way of that people want to click on it. And so this is really where it needs to get interesting when it comes to creating the same product multiple times on Shopify, so that you just use those products onto your shopping campaigns, right? Very important. Now, the last thing is the performance max. Very powerful campaign type, and that's also something which a lot of ad accounts only have that, right? They don't have any search campaigns. Maybe even don't have any shopping campaigns. So what a Performance Max campaign is, it's kind of like an all-in-one solution from Google, right? It's a pretty new campaign type, and they've kind of created that to basically make Google Ads accessible and easy as possible to everyone. Kind of like Facebook wanted to do it with Advantage Plus, kind of failed, but Google Performance Max is actually super powerful. However, right, a little bit too powerful, because sometimes this is something which I experienced, when I launched a Performance Max campaign on Google, there's something that happens which is called cannibalism, right? Basically, it started eating up all my other campaigns. And so they stopped getting spend, or they stopped performing after all. Because at the end of the day, Performance Max will also include all the search keywords like your brand name and everything, but also the shopping and even creatives on YouTube ads, for example. So if you have this happen, what I did, or what I'm working on right now, is you make a super expensive offer, a bundle, right? A super expensive bundle, which is completely different from your main product, right? You bundle it up with a bunch of different products and make specific creatives and only launch a PMax for that bundle, right? For that expensive offer. When you do that, you will realize that it's not going to happen, that you have this like cannibalism on your ad account. And that's very important, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation of all your other campaigns stopping to perform because you launched a Performance Max, okay? You want to learn all of these. All right, so that is pretty much it. Thank you so much for giving me your time and your attention, guys. I hope you could learn at least 1 or 2 things in this video. I really tried to be as clear and as transparent as possible. Don't overstress things. You're doing well. Keep doing what you're doing. As long as you don't give up, you can't lose, okay? Trust me there. Ecom is hard, but you're going to make it. You're on the right way of watching this video. You're discovered this channel, which is the best thing that could have happened to you. So yeah, thank you so much again for giving me your time, and I wish you a fantastic day.